Okay, good evening. It is 6 p.m., December the 2nd, 2019. Time to call the City Council meeting to order. Ms. Rose, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Madden?
Here.
Mr. Austin?
Here.
Mr. Blankenship?
Here.
Mr. Eggers?
Here.
Mr. Hukin?
Here.
Mr. Richards?
Here.
Mr. Wertz?
Here.
Sir, you have a form.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Wertz, would you do the prayer and pledge, please?
Okay. Let's bow our head, please. Father, let us remember the Christmas season and to celebrate the holiday lighting and parade in Franklin this weekend. Be with our military men and women who protect our freedoms for our great country. Be with the police and fire departments as our first responders and all city employees who provide the many services for our awesome city. Father, be with our mayor, council, as they conduct the business of our fantastic city and the challenges in 2020. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everyone for attending tonight. Is there any announcements? Any presentations?
Just remind everybody at the winter markets this Saturday, 2 days, and then the lighting in the evening. All everybody's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Anybody else? Public comments? Okay, I do have some announcements to make. On December the 7th, Scott Summers will become our Deputy Police Chief. On December 24th, Sally Brown will be officially the DPW Superintendent. And then on January 1st, Matt Culp will be the Fire Chief, and Justin Lawler will be the Deputy Fire Chief. And then January 6th, we have a new Community Development Specialist that will be starting. We'll probably be able to name that at the next meeting. So just wanted to get those names out there. Rick Littleton is going into our IT department. He's been there, although officially it doesn't start the budget till January 1. So I guess that's the final announcement also. So anyway, everybody's done a great job. I know we still have another council meeting to go. It's been a great year, and it's hard to believe it's December. So is there any other announcements, presentations, or public comment? Hearing none, we'll move to the consent agenda.
I move to approve both meeting minutes from 11:04 and 11:18.
Second.
Second by Mr. Richards. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. There isn't any old business, so we'll go right into new business.
Move to read new business by title only.
Second.
We have a motion to read the new business by title only. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Item number 1, Common Council Resolution number 19-09, authorizing the purchase of cemetery plots from Indiana Masonic County. City Attorney Glenn Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know some of you council members were in the audience when we went over this before work, so I apologize for the duplicity. But this, you need a little history here, and certainly those in the public need history. Back in 1958, the Masonic home purchased from the city of Franklin cemetery ground in Greenlawn Cemetery. As I understand it from looking at the archives and doing a little historical background check, at the time the city needed some money to develop its cemetery, and the Masonic home was willing to just make an outright purchase of those 2 plots, a plot of equivalent size to the right of the orange area that's outlined, and then that orange plot that was there. There was also an agreement that as part of that, then the Masonic home sign would go there, your Greenlawn Cemetery, which I'm sure you've all seen, and that's why that sign was there. The Masonic home needed the ground because they sold cemetery, they didn't sell cemetery plots as part of their package that they gave to the residents that moved into the Masonic home. They literally took them from the time they moved in through death, and so they utilized the cemetery plots as part of benefits of living in the Masonic home. In recent years, that policy for the Masonic Home has changed, and they have not had the need to utilize that ground that's out there, utilize those plots. There was an agreement that was prepared in 1958. It's a one-page document that doesn't really tell us much. In fact, it said it was supposed to be deeded. It never was deeded to the Masonic Home, so technically we still own the land. But by the handshake that was entered into, we followed through with what I was certain was the intent of the agreement. And when they needed the plots, they came out and they used them. They no longer need the plots, and we, quite frankly, need the space. We've had a good success when we've looked at areas to expand, but we're running out of that space. And so the mayor, good 6 to 9 months ago, I would think, began discussing with the Masonic Home president that we might repurchase that area of land. To be technically correct, we're not purchasing the land, we own it. We were supposed to deed it to them, but we didn't. But what they do have are burial rights, or what the law defines as being burial easement rights of interment across that property. We believe that that property will result in us having the ability to have 1,000 additional graves in that area. And the terms of the proposed agreement with the Masonic Home is that we will purchase the area for $150,000 payable over time. It would be $50,000 payable in 2019 if you so approve this, and then an additional sum payable over time. Is it $25,000 a year?
Yes.
For the next 4 years, after that beginning 20, 21, 22, and 23. That would be a total purchase price. It does not bear interest on the purchase price, a total purchase price of $150,000. I've asked Stuart at Green Lawn Cemetery to give me some figures before we made the determination to bring this to you and see if we would go forward as to what kind of income we would expect to generate over time from that. Stuart indicated to us that one plot at Green Lawn is $700 for Franklin residents, $850 for non-residents. Additionally, we charge $700 for opening and closing the grave Monday through Friday, and $800 on Saturday. Just rough estimates, it's rough, I simply taking $1,000 and multiplying by that time. We would expect to generate somewhere in the neighborhood of $700,000 to $850,000 in grave plot sales, $700,000 and $800,000 in open and closing fees. So that's roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,400,000 to $1,600,000. Now, obviously, that's payable over time. Obviously, there's a reduction of that when you think about the time use of money, the present day value of that. But it seemed like a very good opportunity for the city of Franklin to move forward with this. I shared with the Board of Works the last 3 or 4 months, Rob Shastall and I, Rob Shastall on behalf of the RDC, BJ Depping on behalf of the Masonic Home, and I have been putting our brains together to try to figure out how to make this work with, under the laws and restrictions on purchasing land and buying land that the city has to follow under the law. I came to the conclusion, and both those gentlemen agreed to me, that technically we don't have to do the 2 appraisals that is required when you buy land, because we are not buying land. If you go to the recorder's office, you will see that this property is recorded in our name. So we're not technically purchasing land. What we're purchasing is the right of interment over that land. So I'm not, it is my legal opinion, and both gentlemen also agree with me, that we don't need to do an appraisals, but I thought in the interest, in case somebody else is reviewing our work in 2058, like I'm reviewing work from 1958, we ought to have something in the record indicating how we arrived at a value in excess of what the purchase price is going to be. So I contacted Steve Graves, who is a certified appraiser in the state of Indiana, who also is familiar with business purchases, has done some cemetery purchases and the like, and he is willing to give us an appraisal that we could have as part of our file, indicating that the value is in excess of $150,000, if in fact it is. So the resolution before you, gentlemen, is a resolution authorizing us to proceed with the sale, conditioned upon 2 things. Number 1, conditioned upon us receiving an appraisal, not an appraisal, but an opinion of value, that the purchase price is less than or equal to the value of what we are buying, and also subject to the mayor proceeding with all the information in terms of closing closing the documents and those kind of things in 2019. The cost of that would be, the appraisal is approximately $3,000, which is about half of what it would be if you had to do 2 appraisers for land. So I think that cost is reasonable given the potential for what we can recover here. And the Board of Works did authorize the mayor to go forward, subject obviously to your authorization as well. The reason I think the council is appropriate for authorization is because this is funding that you did appropriate at one point in time, so we need to involve you in this, but after this point, if you authorize us to go forward, then the Board of Works will complete the sale, and then we take the property back from the Masonic Home.
And the money was appropriated, I think, about 3-4 months ago. We talked about potential projects that we could do this year. This was one of those projects. The other project being the Paris Estates concrete work that we did, Jefferson Street concrete work, Rejuvenate road maintenance that we did. Also, that looks like some dumpster enclosures. I don't think, we got some property for the dumpster enclosures, but we don't have the fencing yet, so that probably won't happen this year. And if you notice, there's some railroad arms that we were hoping to get done this year. They have been delivered, if you see the storage containers. So it looks like that we're not going to pay our portion of the matching grant for that this year. So there is money left over out of the appropriation that we talked about to rake back over into the rainy day, and we'll be coming back for those with the railroad arms next year. However, this money is appropriated to move forward with the purchase of this.
I thought this looked familiar, because I know we talked about
Yes.
this at one point, in conjunction with the other projects that they mentioned.
And one other thing the Board of Works asked me, you'll notice that the proposed agreement that is before you from the Masonic Home references the RDC, because when we began this process months ago, we weren't sure whether we would do it through the RDC, if we could avoid some of the soft costs, the appraisals, if we would do it with the Board of Works. Having consulted with both Mr. Duffy and Mr. Shastall, I concluded that since we don't have to do land appraisals like we typically do, it made no sense to involve one more step of including the RDC, because that would just increase the soft costs that we're trying to get away from.
It makes sense that we're involved, because the revenue generated from the sales of the plots is only going to.
Seemed like a no-brainer, $1.4 million, $1.6 million, even backing it down for present day value, seemed like something that you should certainly consider.
But that's being a resolution, I make a motion to approve under the 2 conditions that Lynn mentioned earlier.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
No,
Do we have to do it? Go ahead, Bob.
I probably should abstain since I'm on the board at Compass Park.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? We'll open it up for public comment. If anybody wants to say anything? Everybody's dying to get there, right?
I knew you was coming, I knew that was coming.
Hanging out.
Mayor, if you can get the yes and no, I don't think everybody had an opportunity to say yea or nay on the vote.
Yeah, you just wait.
It,
I'm sorry?
just about.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so, I opened it up for public comment. Nobody wants to speak, so we'll close public comment. So now we have a motion on the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none.
One abstention.
One abstention.
One abstention. All right,
Thank you.
Common Council Budgetary Resolution number 19-14, authorizing a transfer from Police Services 300 to Police Capital 400, an amount of $17,422. Police Chief Kirby Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. and the council. I'm here to ask for authorization to transfer funds from Police Services 300 to Police Capital 400. Basically what we did was we went through the building. We have 12 air conditioning units, 12 furnace units on that building. A lot of it's been neglected, just repaired as it's, as it goes down. So what we decided to do was try and be a little more proactive with it. We did have a couple companies out. Torrance and Sons was the most efficient and cheapest in this particular repair. These 2 units that we replaced, we've already spent some money on. We've had our current maintenance guy, Al Hessman, out with them a couple of times, and they've done some repair work. These are the 2 oldest units we have. Back up just a little bit. What we decided to do then was just start a matrix on what equipment we had, where it was located, so we have diagrams of everything, the ages of the equipment. Torrance and Sons did that for us, they serviced them, and together we decided these 2 units, the 2 furnaces, 2 air conditioners, needed to be replaced as opposed to be repaired. The cost of that was $17,422. The only reason I tell you that is, the best way to do this is to transfer this money now and just from one to the other, but keep in mind, we're just trying to be proactive and replace a couple per year so that we're not spending $210,000 or whatever it would have been at one time, should we try and do all this at one time. So can't say that one of the others might not go out, but just giving you a heads up. We're trying to be proactive with it. We're just transferring money we already have in the budget.
There's no questions for Chief Cochran. I think we're ready for a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 19-14.
Second.
Second by Mr. Austin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll go on to item 3. Common Council Budgetary Resolution number 19-15, authorizing the transfer from local road and bridge matching grant fund to the rainy day fund in the amount of $8,275.92. Clerk Treasurer Jane Rhodes.
Yes, sir, thank you. This is, we were able to close out our 2018 crossing grant. All the bills have been paid. And so the money that's left over, we divide between the city and NDOT. And so our share is $8,275.92. It was taken from rainy day, and we had to match the grant, and we will just be putting that money back in the rainy day fund.
Okay, just to clarify, I asked Jane this question today, just so everybody knows. That particular grant, we got $602,000. We used it all, but right at the $16,550 roughly. And so she divided that by 2. We'd like to say, can we hit it right to the penny and use every dime that we get off of NDOT? Well, you can't quite hit that every time, so that was the money that was left over that we did not use. And you can't add to, when you have a grant like that and you submit for it, you can't add projects to use all the money. It's kind of an estimate, and it's one of those things that you try to hit it as close as you do, and I think that Mark did a good job of hitting those estimates. That's all we've had to give back, and I think we've had to do that almost every time we've got a grant, so just so you know. Any more questions on that?
Move to approve resolution number 19-15.
Second.
I think that second was by Mr. Adams. Okay,
Well,
yeah. What's the matter?
Patriots lost.
Okay, we have a motion. Second, all those in favor?
Aye. Those are the last houses
I
on
know.
Colts did too.
Colts did too.
Hearing nobody opposed, we'll move on to number 4. This is introduction only. Common Council Ordinance number 19-07, approving resolution number 19-21, the City of Franklin Planning Commission rezoning certain property to RS1, residential suburban 1, to be known as west of Windstar, rezoning. Senior Planner Joanna Myers.
Good evening. In October, the Plan Commission requested that we initiate a rezoning of the 166 acres, which is immediately west of the existing Windstar subdivision. That property is included in the primary plat of the Bluffs at Youngs Creek that has already been before the Plan Commission, and it does have an approved primary plat. The reason that the request to rezone it is, as we had went through the process with the Bluffs at Youngs Creek, it came to our attention that with the RSN zoning district, there were 2 of the requirements regarding lot size and lot width that referred to the minimum size of those was based off of the original primary plat that was approved at that time. So in 2004, the original Windstar 8,000 square feet in lot area. Therefore, those are the minimums under the RSN zoning district for the area highlighted in yellow. As you had heard and Planning Commission had heard, there were many concerns of the residents regarding that. It was one of those unintended consequences that at the time it was developed in order to allow the existing approved plans to continue without creating any nonconformities. There were other areas in the city that had the RSN zoning district that also had areas that were not completed. Cumberland Trace being one of them, Deer Meadows is the other. Those two developments did exactly what the zoning district was intended for, and those developments continued when they were revived, pretty much exactly the same as what they were previously approved. So anticipation that should something happen again, as it did back in 2007, 2008, that if development stalls, developer decides to not move forward, the approval of that existing primary plat goes void, that the Planning Commission wanted to go ahead and rezone the property that should that occur, that any development that would then come before the city would have to meet the new zoning district of RS1. Want to note that the existing primary plat, as approved for the Bluffs of Youngs Creek, remains valid.